Stewart's got some real help coming towards the front here.
Michael Waltrip in the 55. Into the picture. Pushed by Casey Mears. Kenseth with Harvick behind him. Oh, there's contact. Stewart into the middle of the pack and over.
Fortune's out.
And a huge wreck to end this race. Matt Kenseth is going to get to the finish line first. Is everybody okay? And one of the championship drivers got through. Which ones didn't? NASCAR will check the video to see who was out in front at the moment of caution. They have just called confirmation that Matt Kenseth is the winner of this race. So many cars involved in the accident. Tony Stewart's car up on its side. Jimmy Johnson's car all torn up. And it's going to take a bit to sort out the actual finish of this one as Stewart climbs from his car. And that's great to see. Bobby Labonte. And the scene. Dale Jr. just refired from the accident scene and came to the finish line. He's picking up Jimmy Johnson, who just climbed from his destroyed race car.
Yeah, Jr. just trying to complete the last lap. He came off pit road, crossed the line, and he saw Jimmy standing there.
We'll be right back.
If that left rear tire doesn't come apart, not going to be good on Jimmy.
Well, he'd be the first to know.
Yeah, I know.
Junior here on last lap. Chaos at Talladega Superspeedway. Matt Kenseth is the beneficiary of all the problems out there.
Well, what a turn of events. First, show you who was in the lead at the moment the caution came out. There's Stewart with Matt Kenseth. And you see clearly Kenseth out in front as the caution light turns to yellow.
Yeah, it looks like the first three might be Kenseth, Gordon, and Kyle Busch from that point.
Yeah.
But it was
anybody's guess from that point.
When it all started, Michael Waltrip had a huge run down on the bottom, getting pushed by Casey Mears.
That definitely was the first contact you saw was Michael Waltrip into Tony Stewart, but he was getting a big, big push and nowhere to take it.
Well, here it is. Waltrip in the 55, Mears in the 13, Stewart in the 14.
You can see Tony just a little bit late in making that move to get back down. Harvick and Kenseth on the outside had a run, so they were literally going to go by him on both sides.
Watch the two. The championship leader somehow avoided getting really torn up in that.
See, it looked like Martin Truex was going to get through there. Bobby Labonte caught him right at the end.
They waited all day to do it, but it was big when it happened.
Yes, sir.
See Michael Waltrip just barely catching the left rear quarter panel of Kevin Harvick. Get him involved. Stewart's car upside down on top of Casey Kane's number 5.
And down here, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, both of them kind of describing amongst the laugh and probably a big sigh as well. How will they got through
Incredible.
Greg Biffle, 5th place right now. What did you see out there coming to the checkered flag?
They're coming to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and you know as a driver, Tony Stewart's leading this race. He's got no help. He tries to make a move that's going to get him some push and help. And you know as a driver, if you make that move, there's a chance that somebody's not going to lift on the last lap, and this is a situation that could happen. It's a product of this type of racing, and every driver knew that's the situation that you could find yourself in.
Just kept it going straight, that's all I did. And once I was clear of all the stuff, you know, I kept going.
From Flint Boyer.
The reason these cars are riding so much rougher than what they used to is
big crash! One car gets turned sideways. The trial Hermie Sadler is involved in 93, and Dave Blaney is involved.
Go high, go high, go high, go high. There's no one spinning down the bottom.
One car airborne against the catch fence.
And they're still wrecking down in the corner.
Keep the line, Joe.
77 cars involved in 96.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. also involved, has some damage. And there we see Dave Blaney gets hit and flam. He turns over and hits the wall with the roof of the car, it looked like.
I think what they did, they ran up on Blaney. It looked like they ran up on Blaney, and somebody checked up, and Earnhardt Jr. got in the back of. You got to see it right
Hermie
here.
Sadler's car number 29 there.
If you see Hermie Sadler, the 29 car, here's Blaney to the inside. They're just about, the yellow car's right here, just about getting to even with him. And as you can see right here, as he goes by, the 3 car turns Hermie Sadler, which turns Hermie Sadler into the 93, sends him back across the racetrack. It's just, you're so close, such close quarters, that as they race right there, somebody checks up just a little bit to give somebody a little bit of room. There's no place to go.
23, this caution flag involving 7 cars.
That was Dave Blaney we saw in the outside retaining wall hard. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3 car sliding down with damage to the right front. Here's another shot. There's Blaney, bam, in an outside wall as he goes down and blocks the racetrack. Just no place for some of these guys to go.
On that outside on restarts.
10 to go. They come into the restart zone. Kyle Larson, the outside. Carl Edwards on the inside. Green flag back in the air. They're blocking. Good go Nevo. Carl Edwards into the wall. He got tagged by the 22. Big hits by the 19. And the caution comes back out again.
That is exactly what we saw Joey Logano was going to try to do. Big fire in the 78. But that is what we thought was going to happen. Obviously, the wreck isn't what we thought. Martin Truex Jr. needs to get out of this race car.
Very aggressive on the restart. The flames rolling out from underneath the hood of the 78. Red flag comes out. Martin Truex Jr. is out of the car. Huge contact for the 19 of Carl Edwards. First it was the inside wall, then he was hit by another car.
A championship's on the line, Rick. The 22 gets a great restart. The 19 blocks. They make contact. Look at the damage on the 19 car. A couple huge impacts.
And we thought that's what was going to happen. The 22, Joey Logano, has been so good on restarts all night. The 22 gets a big run. Carl sees him coming. He goes to block. 22 does not slow up. Stays in the throttle. Big wreck.
And the 22 really ended up getting a lot better out of that situation because it looked as though Brad Keselowski laid completely off of him, the 22's teammate.
Well, he wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't want anything to do with the accident or the championship battle. But you see the 48's blocking the 2 to the bottom.
And listen, if you're a Carl Edwards fan, you're upset at Joey Logano. If you're a Joey Logano fan, you're upset at Carl Edwards. That right there is Joey Logano being aggressive, making a very, very aggressive move, but he got a good restart. Carl Edwards had no choice but to block. If he doesn't turn left, Joey Logano's next to him entering turn 1. He's in the middle of 3 wide. Worst possible scenario for Carl. Carl turns left, trying to block a championship on the line. Joey's there in a big wreck. And I don't blame Carl Edwards.
Not at all.
He had to block. That's what he had to try to do.
But I don't blame Joey Logano, because if he lifts with 10 to go, it's over. He's lost the championship right there. He didn't hit the 19 in the bumper. He was inside the left rear bumper cover of the 19 of Carl Edwards. You see, he's walking it off. It's just a frustration. It's the size of the moment. A championship on the line. We knew restarts were going to be crazy. This one was completely out of control. But what a car that Carl Edwards had tonight, that's got to make the disappointment worth. Remember, 5 years ago, he tied here. He came back trying to win a championship.
It's mandatory that when a driver gets out of the car in the race that they go to the infield care center. Normally, they're taken there by the ambulance, but I believe the communication between the track worker, the safety worker, and Carl was, I'll walk over there. I'm going to walk there.
And remember, the 19 car led 47 laps tonight. That was the best of the 4 cars that were contending for the championship. So now that's why they're disappointed. That's why he was so dejected. Now NASCAR, after this restart, they're going to have to go and figure out where everybody lines up. Remember, there's timing lines around the racetrack to lock them in, but there's also the factor that you have to maintain speed. You have to maintain a certain speed. So right now, NASCAR is looking at those scoring lines, and we'll watch replays to determine where to line everybody up.
Let's listen into the 22. Joey Logano, his radio on what took place.
I got damage on the right front and probably the right rear. Came down right in front of me.
Here, Joey Logano. He came down right in front of me. But Carl Edwards was trying to block. He did not want to give up that position on the restart.
No, he didn't want to give it up. He didn't want to give a championship up. He was put in a position because of Joey Logano's very good restart. Joey did everything right. Carl Edwards doesn't block. He's 3 wide, in the middle, getting into turn 1. His opportunity to win a championship is definitely less in that scenario. So, an aggressive move by Logano, but in my eyes, he did everything he was supposed to do, trying to win a race and win a championship.
I mean, this is what's on the line. 4 drivers, an entire season, a championship. Neither Joey Logano nor Carl Edwards have ever won a championship.
Really, Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch, of the 2 championship contenders remaining out on the track. Actually, Joey Logano's still out there, but will have a little bit of damage to the car. But those 2 benefit the most from this because they were able to get through.
What a big impact. To be honest, I've been focused so much on that restart, I didn't realize the degree of that impact.
Let's ride along with.
Big. Casey Kane gets turned around. Greg Biffle involved. Mark Martin is there. No caution has come out. They're going to let him race back as Gordon piles in, and now the caution.
6. You knew that was going to be big when you saw the 9 coming back across the racetrack.
Okay, here's what happened final lap.
Casey, and I'm going to put a big block on him, and that's what it was. He put a and man, once you get that grass, you're done.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a hit, man.
Wow.
That was a hit.
That was a hard hit. The 16 and the 5 just drove into the side of the 9, had no place to go. The Mark Martin and Biffle took the hard hits right there. And then you see 24 come into it. 26.
Yeah. Take another look here. Watch. You see Casey Kane, the Budweiser car. He's going to make a run, and Allmendinger is going to take him all the way to the grass on the block.
Yeah, and I think Allmendinger, I think AJ felt like, okay, I'm this far down. He's not going to be there now.
And I mean, right in front of Mark Martin and Biffle. Who's that? Is that Truex in there too?
Yeah, Truex is in there.
Yeah.
Here's a 39 that we saw come off of turn 3, just in the gas.
Oh, Ambrose hit the inside guardrail.
21 years old from Ohio there, that bright orange 13. Had led just 3 laps before today. Spent a good amount of time out front, but now it's Grant Enfinger, last year's winner, in contact, and Coughlin goes around. Big hit for Coughlin and Fontaine and others involved. And there's John Hunter Nemechek. Looks like he has escaped. But Coughlin did not. Myatt Snyder with some smoke has obviously been involved in it as well. The 29 of Briscoe. Man, look at the damage Fontaine had. Such a good run.
Man, you just see the tight racing, and Kevin, as every lap winds off, they get more aggressive with the side drafting. Had guys that, quite frankly, haven't run at the front a lot this year, and they could taste the lead here at Talladega.
Well, that's the mentality that you have coming here, especially when you hadn't won a race all year, you know that this is your opportunity, and you're willing to take more risks than you are at other places because you know you can make something happen by pushing and shoving and getting yourself in position up front and up in front of the pack. So these guys were doing everything they can to try to get to the front and stay there.
Here's you called it, Kevin. Now watch Bell. He gives Enfinger a push. They're clear of this. But now here comes Gregson, 3 wide up the middle, and this has to be where problems started. Yeah.
Wyatt Snyder looked like he got into the back end of the 13 and spun him.
Well, what happens is that bottom lane here through the tri-oval is much flatter than the rest of the lanes going up. And when you're in the middle, you're already in a bad spot because the back end of your truck starts to want to wiggle around. But what you saw there was Wyatt Snyder was in the middle. And it looked like he came up the racetrack there, and as he went, he got loose right there, and then he just touched the back of the 13 in the right rear, and the 47 came down, and it all broke loose there.
You can see briefly up in the air was the 13 truck, and he settled right back down. The aerodynamic flaps you see on that bed, Vince, those flaps opening up, that's helping to evacuate the air from under the truck and set it back down.
Like they served their purpose.
I can see why Fontaine was slow. Wow, that was a heavy hit for him. I just think Snyder tried to get into a hole, got a little bit loose, and clipped Cody Coughlin.
Yeah, when you're in the middle like that, you know how it is, Michael. It's just you have to be so much more careful with the steering wheel and the input that you put into the right or left, because everything just becomes much easier to spin out or get loose, and the truck just is not as stable as it is in the outside or inside lanes, when the middle is a tough place to be through that tri-oval.
Almost like if you've ever had to walk on the ice, it's kind of tough to get your balance and feel secure.
Well, you see him, he kind of, I don't know if he thought the 13 was going to come back up the racetrack right there, but he kind of jerked the truck to the right. The 51 truck of Wyatt Snyder kind of jerked the truck to the right, and then when he went back to the left, when you put that input into the wheel to the right and then pull it right back to the left, it instantly makes the truck loose.
And watch at the back of the screen, the pink truck that's torn up. That's John Hunter Nemechek. Heavy contact by Wendell Chavis there into the Rhodes truck. Watch where Nemechek goes. He's racing to make the next round of the playoffs, and he used every bit of the available real estate there down into turn 1 to clear that mess.
Well, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me.
And that move right there is probably going to make the playoffs for him. I mean, that was just one of those moves that you don't know where the trucks are going to go, and you go with your instinct and shooting for the gap there. But those are big hits.
That's the 13 of Coughlin, and then the 47 of Fontaine. Now on board with Wyatt Snyder.
He sees.
Working here. Outside, outside. Outside, outside.
Yeah, he was just in trouble. When he started going up the racetrack, and you could see that steering wheel, and it started going back to the right, back to the left, back to the right. He was in trouble right from the beginning.
And you can see the Coughlin truck. He lost his momentum, and that meant opportunities to get 2, even 3 wide. Snyder saw that chance, and he took it, but I think just a little aggressive with the steering. The trucks are light in this tri-oval anyway. I mean, they're even at best in the pack, you can barely hang on to them. When you try to make a quick move, it can get you in trouble.
John Hunter Nemechek, you saw the repairs being done there, and then this one, the big one here with Cody Coughlin. And there was Greenfield involved after some contact from Wyatt Snyder, Ben Rhodes. But maybe one of the big storylines of this accident, as you see Coughlin kind of get up over the top there of the 47, was that somehow John Hunter Nemechek was able to get through it all without suffering more damage, as Chris Fontaine made his way to the medical.
Problems! Huge hit for Kennedy! The 11 up on the safer barrier. Down off the wall it comes to a grinding halt in the middle of the racetrack.
I'm okay. It's a hard hit.
So he's racing on the inside of David Gillen. They make a little bit of contact. You see John West Townley was on the outside. He's going to run right into the side of him and kind of lift that truck up a little bit. Got into the catch fence. For the second week in a row, we've had a vehicle in the catch fence. But again, the catch fence did its job. It kept that truck down on the racetrack, and you see it riding along the top of the safer barrier.
When they got to turn 1, Phil, I think they were 3 wide, and Ben probably thought that's a difficult angle for the spotters to see as well. And I think that Ben probably thought, wow, look how close that truck comes to going over. probably thought they were just too wide and he had room to move up a little bit for the corner.
That's what it looked like.
That was incredible how that truck just grinding along that safer barrier.
That's a battery sliding up in the top lane of the racetrack. Let's take a look at it again.
You can see that it was Gilliland,
John West Townley in the yellow
West,
truck.
and I think John Gilliland was just below John West, and maybe Ben Kennedy felt like they were just too wide and had room to angle himself for the corner, battling for a spot well inside of the top 10. Look at all that debris.
But as you pointed out, Phil, that catch fence doing exactly what it's supposed to do as the axle's just grinding along that safer barrier on the wall.
Wow.
First, you've been released from the care center. Are you okay? And walk us through what happened in that accident.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank the good Lord for keeping me safe and everything NASCAR does to keep these trucks safe, because had this been, years ago, I don't know that I would have got out of my truck on my own power like that. That's pretty incredible. But, yeah, I was just coming down the front straightaway, and I heard clear, and I guess the 92 had a run on the outside. As soon as I heard clear, I want to get a good arc into the corner, so I started heading up towards the wall and got hit in the right rear, and then I guess the rest is really history. I got up on top of the wall for a while, and you don't really know what to expect being up there. And then falling down from the wall to the ground was a pretty hard hit as well. So, like I said, thank the good Lord for keeping me safe out there, and we'll go get him at Eldora.
It's Ben Kennedy released from the care center. That's great news.
Disappointment.
Window net is down for Justin Allgaier, and the 90 there is Ronnie Bassett Jr. Safety crews are on the scene and appear to be talking, and we see movement from behind the wheel. There he is climbing out.
See him loose under him. His car on the outside got loose underneath of him, going for him. You're trying to make up time, you're out of time.
Jeez,
last
what a
lap.
hit.
That is a shot right there. That car completely off the ground.
And that's, Mario Goslin equipment, a team that doesn't have the resources and got to race again tomorrow night. Very difficult situation for them.
That was a shot.
His brother Dylan shares time in that race car, and good family operation from up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Going back.
Eric Jones is sideways. He and Keselowski make contact. Keselowski and Jones into the outside wall, and Brad will slam hard into the inside wall. Massive, massive collision for Brad Keselowski, who makes just a hellacious hit into the inside wall off turn 2.
And it looks as though that car is sideways, maybe up on top. Yeah, it's up on top of the tire barriers. So Brad Keselowski, you see the window net is down, but hard contact for the 2 and Brad Keselowski into those tire barriers. He's going to try to climb out of that car. And he hops up.
Eric Jones tries to feel the hole, and Brad, it's very tight right there. Brad coming down the 20, trying to get in that position, and it took all the air off the right side of that 20 car. Eric Jones getting a little bit loose there underneath the 2.
The passenger side contact for that 2 getting up under the tires.
Actually, I think those tires were very well placed. That wall is kind of an opposite angle. So while it looks very dangerous up on its side like that, I think that protected Brad from hitting kind of a negative angle against a very solid wall. This is another view. Look at the 20 with a huge impact, and then the 2 slides across the left side right here. And as I mentioned, those tire barriers, Jeff, why, they look vicious. I think they have to be softer than the concrete wall behind them.
Yeah, normally tires, there's a problem with tires, but in this case, I mean, yes, it put the car on its side, but look how fast they're still going. This impact right here, you would think would have slowed the car down more, but as he turns and goes across the racetrack, it is rolling. I mean, still flying. Hits that wall. It absorbed a ton of impact.
Yeah, we talked about
a huge hit.
Yeah, we talked about the 2 car, but also the fuel cell and safety in the back of that 20 car. To keep that car from catching fire, pretty amazing.
That's like back in your era, Jeff. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Almirola Bowman.
Oh, the 24's on his side. Remember what I said, Clint, about 21 cars? I don't know if we got
it.
there, but man, that took out a lot of race cars and a lot of great race cars in there.
I know Eric Almirola was one of the front ones up front, so anytime that happens up front, you're going to take out a lot of them. There's Jamie McMurray.
All these cars stuck in that mode.
Ryan
We've had
Newman.
heavy rain down here overnight.
Tyler Reddick. That is a dozen of destruction.
When we talk about being aggressive, bump drafting, switching lanes here early on, only 14 laps into this 200-lap race.
Oh, Eric Almirola, who won his dual race, thought he had a great shot for the
Blaney.
500. All torn up. Christopher Bell, new to the Joe Gibbs Toyota team in the 20. And Eric Almirola racing hard here. Watch the 10 and the 20 down on the bottom.
You can see the outside, 48, Alex Bowman doing a little side drafting to the right side of Eric Almirola.
And I see a gap in between Eric and the 20 car.
And look at the push coming from Kyle Busch to his teammate, Christopher Bell. Now that's going to get him to the rear bumper.
Big shot.
Oh, he just got over on that right side.
I can tell you another part of that equation, Jeff. These cars, they have skew in the rear ends. That's obviously for speed and make the cars go fast, make them pull up to other cars. It's also, in my experience, makes them squirrely. When that car hits him, it pushes that car into the steer of the rear end, and it can turn you in a heartbeat.
We're so reminiscent when Eric Almirola lost the lead in the closing yards of this race in 2018.
He was along for the ride. As soon as that contact hit, it just turned his car right. He took the words right out of my mouth. Unbelievable. Crushing blow to so many teams, so many efforts that it goes into having fast cars and being at this Daytona 500. That was a lot of heavy hitters in this one.
We're going to ride with Ryan Newman through this.
Well, look at that 24 car go up on the side on two wheels.
Smashed just as badly as he got with his primary car
that's
Thursday
his
night.
backup car.
At least a dozen cars involved. Oh, David Reagan torn up as well.
I'm back to 2 wide, but he's in the middle lane. Got to run with him in the middle lane. Caroline's got a little bit more of a run. 43 closing on you. But still has got spinning top, spinning top, spinning top.
Just nothing you can do when it happens up front like that.
Carnage in the first 15 laps of the Daytona 500.
Car
in the wall, Chris Buescher, and he gets tagged by DiBenedetto. Truex is in it. And so is the 77 of rookie Justin Haley.
Right on cue.
19 of Truex getting caught up in this.
Larry, that trend was nobody's friend.
7 to go.
Got a fire on the 95 to Benedetto.
Having a great day, just running so well all day long.
Good to see him climb out. Chris Buescher took a hard hit. And there's Haley. His rookie run spoiled. That's a tough way to end it with 7 laps to go. So coming off turn number 2, Buescher is third on the outside.
Yeah, and keep an eye on, I believe the 10 car of Almirola gets a nice run behind Chris Buescher. He almost tries to make it 3 wide right there. Buescher comes down. A little bit of contact right there and just turns the 37 around.
Boy, and Benedetto had nowhere to go, and Truex had nowhere to go.
So happy to see that 37 car stay on the ground when the 95 hit him. Yeah, big hit by Haley in the 77.
Wow.
Here's another look, and we'll watch Almirola in the 10 and Chris Buescher in this 37.
So Almirola thought about going 3 wide. That door was shut. And not able to see the contact, but I know, I mean, the way that car turns so abruptly, you know the contact was there, and then, wow, look at this.
Unbelievable.
Saw Corey LaJoie just thread the needle and get through there. You're with Daniel Suarez.
2 rows here. Everybody's working middle and the bottom. Coming to you. Got a crash up top there.